Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get logged in. Some issues with my laptop, iPad here.
Okay, I think that's all of us.
Okay, looks like we're all in attending. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. Call this meeting to order. 6 o'clock, or sorry, 5:30. Zoom session, Bryant School District. Dr. Walters going to talk about the annual budget.
Yes, sir. So we have three budget items to approve tonight. We have our general budget for the entire district. We'll also review and approve our federal programs, non-special ed, and then the special ed budget by itself as well. We've had, as you guys know, we've had 2 work sessions where we've gone over our budget extensively. The documents that you have as an attachment to your agenda tonight are a little different than what we've had in years past. And what I would like to do is use our summary sheet that y'all are used to seeing each month that has our revenues at the top, and it shows where we're at on all of those operating funds as kind of our anchor, since that's what we're used to seeing and that's what we'll be looking at each month. I'm going to use that as our anchor, and I'm going to talk about the other documents. Before I get into that, Julie Shelby is on the Zoom. She's there, and Miss Rita is here in the room with me, along with Dr. Dissinger. And of course, Alex is here in case I have technical difficulties. He has to help me, but if y'all have questions, they'll be happy to answer them. If we all have our Zooms going at the same time in the same room, we have a lot of feedback and stuff, but they are here if y'all have questions for them. First of all, I want to point out on our summary page that if you notice at the top, our revenues are a little over $79 million. And then if you go to the bottom looking at our expenditures, you'll notice that number is 78.1 million. So from this document, I want to go to the document that is titled Total Operating Revenue E-Finance. So I don't know if all of you have print copies, if you're looking electronically, so I'll give you a second to get that open. What I want to point out to you is this is the budget that has been put into eFinance, which is our accounting system, which this is what counts. It doesn't matter all the documents we have in spreadsheets. What matters is what we have in eFinance. And I want to point out, if you look at the highlighted number at the bottom of that page, you'll see that that 79,008,000 matches to what our summary document is that we, like I said, kind of work off of at each board meeting. So I want to point out that those numbers match, which is what we're looking for. The next document I want to look at is our document titled Total Operating Expenditures eFinance 2021. And I'll give you a moment to get that open. So if you look at the page number at the top of this document, you'll see it says page number 154. This is a very long report, and we didn't want to put, 150 something pages up for you. But what's important about this report is that bottom line number. So again, if I can direct your attention to the highlighted number at the bottom, it says budget, it says 70,593,000. That number doesn't match on our summary, but if you'll notice the handwritten notes at the bottom of the page, if you take that number and you include our bond payments, which bond payments are paid out of the 4,000 fund, and right now we're looking at 2,000 fund. So if you add that to that number, if you add our M&O summer projects, which is a 2038 code, not part of 2000, and then there's an athletic transfer of $14,000. If you add those things up, you'll see that you get that 78,108,000. So that number balances to what our summary sheet is. So I just wanted to point that out about our revenue and our expenditures. The next document I'd like to point out is the statement of changes in fund balances. And this was a rather long document as well. And I only uploaded the first 2 pages because I wanted you to see what we call the 2 funds or the 2000 funds. So on page 1 of that document, if you notice the highlighted number over on the very end column under 2001, you'll see that the beginning balance is where we ended last year in 2001, the 5.8, and you'll notice the ending balance of the 6.7 there at the end. Now, if you notice, all of the other 2 funds here have zeros, and that is because they are special funds, they're categorical funds. We are required that we have to budget all that money. We don't usually spend all that money. We have carryover. To give you an example, you know, our 2001 fund operating was the 5.8 out of 2001, but our legal balance was 6.4 because we had over $500,000 in those other 2000 funds. So the legal balance will most likely be more, but when we're doing our budget, we have to basically zero these out, even though that's not how we will end. But the important thing is we want that 2001, which is the unrestricted operating money. We can spend it on whatever we choose. We want to see the difference in that increase on that 2001 fund. So that's why I wanted to show you this document. So if you go to the last document that I want you to look at, guys, is document, and it's titled Cycle 1 E-Finance Level 1 Budget 2021. So this document is what we will submit into e-finance. That will be our approved budget that we send to the state. And I wanted to print this off so you could see in 1920 where we started. Remember, there was that transfer that was made. And so at the end of period 13, there was that transfer made. But you can see what the ending balance was there. You can see where we started. That, remember, that 6.4 has all the 2000 funds, not just 2001, but all those 2000s. So that's why it's that 6.4. But you can see the ending balance is going to be the 6.7. Again, that is what will be in 2001 or operating. If you combine the other carryovers that we'll probably have, very likely, well, it'll be over $7 million. So this has got it broken down by fund. It has the building fund, our debt service, which those things are just what we call a wash. We just, is a pass through. We put money into our building 4 fund, but it's paid out of that. So the state can see that we're paying our debt service. So this document, like I said, is not something that you've seen in the past. Feel like this is important from now on that we use this document when we're approving our budget, because again, this is what's in e-finance and this is what's important. The last thing I want to point out to you on our summary sheet, I started there and I'm going to finish there. There is a couple of changes from our work session that we had last about budget. Our substitutes are less than what you saw last time. It was 1.3 million. We did not reduce what we had budgeted for subs. We changed funds where they're being paid from. Our teachers, Our paraprofessionals, they are paid, if we get subs for them, we pay that through Kelly Services. And so it's a purchase service. But nurses, special ed paraprofessionals, custodians, bus drivers, when we get our own subs for that. And so that runs through our payroll. So it is considered a salary and benefit. So we just moved that money from substitutes into salaries and benefits. So at the end of each month, when we're trying to balance this, it balances to where it should be. And I'll be happy to shut up now and answer any questions.
Any questions from the board members? If not, this is a motion item.
I'll make a motion to approve the attached 2020-2021 budget for the Bryant School District.
Second.
Got a motion by Dr. Walsh, second by Ms. Billingsley. A motion to approve the attached 2021 budget for the Bryant School District. Ms. Tipton, can we do a roll call?
Kim Billingsley,
Yes.
Craig Leone,
Yes.
Ben Llewellyn,
Yes.
Patrice Muldrow,
Yes.
Tyler Nelson,
Yes.
Scott Walsh,
Yes.
Sandra Porter.
Yes.
That passes. Dr. Walters, looks like we're going to approval for combined education program budgets. Special education, sorry.
Before I go on to that, I just want to say real quickly, I want to thank Miss Rita and Miss Shelby for their work. They did a great job with our budget. Things are cleaned up, and I couldn't be more happy with what they did. I appreciate all their work. Okay, so now moving on to special ed budget. You guys approved a preliminary copy of this budget in May. We have to have a preliminary budget submitted to the state before June 1, even though we don't know what our allocations are for the year yet. So this is basically tweaked what you approved in June based on the new allocations that we did receive. I think we've done a good job with our special ed budget. You know, a couple of years ago, actually not a couple of years ago, it was last school year, special ed was in the hole significantly from what was budgeted, and we ended the 1920 year. They were on target. They've done a great job with Medicaid billing. I think we've streamlined how we pay things to make it easier to keep up with. And so I think that this is getting better and better. But I won't read this to you. You guys can look at this and see these are the different types of special ed budgets that we have. 6B is what we call our general special ed for school age children. We get some federal early childhood money, and then we get some early childhood money from the state. So we're responsible for any kid that lives in the Bryant School District when they are 3 years old. So whether they're at a preschool, whether they're at a daycare, if they're at home and they qualify for special education services, they are our students, and we are required to take care of services that they need. So that's what that money is for. So I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about special ed budgets.
So the purchase of services or the OT and PT, are those the purchase services?
That's the bulk of it, Ms. Porter. There is some speech as well. We also have to provide speech services for our students that are in private schools within the district. So for instance, if they go to Arkansas Christian Academy, there's a cap on how much we have to spend, but we do, like I know we give speech services to kids there. So it's mostly PT, OT. There could be some mental health services there as well. Sometimes we'll have a student that may be blind and we have to pay for a vision teacher that's not our employee, but they come in and consult. So it's several things, but the bulk of it is OTPT.
Okay.
Any other questions? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to point out that It doesn't look like we're spending a lot of money. It's just that we're paying it out a different pot of money. The RMAC and Medicaid money is not a part of this budget. And we're paying for a lot of those services out of, was it RMAC or Medicaid, Ms. Rita? I think it was Medicaid, wasn't it? I think we budgeted over $400,000 out of our Medicaid funds to pay for OTPT. So that's why that number doesn't look very big. We spend a lot more than that. We just don't spend it out of the special ed funds.
Okay.
If any of these students that qualify for services are doing virtual, do we arrange, I guess, home PTOT to go to that home, or how are these services rendered if the student is a virtual student?
So that is a decision, Dr. Walsh, of their IP. IP team is it's individualized education plan. And so if that child had such health issues that their parents were not comfortable in them coming on site, then they are doing, for the most part, they're doing virtual therapy. But we do have some instances that for the most part, the student's virtual, but the parents would rather them get their therapy on site. And so they're bringing them on site to do therapy here on campus.
Yeah, that's certainly ideal. I guess that's kind of what I was wanting to hear from you. If most of these students are still getting services, on site, and I know some services can be offered virtually. It's just kind of for PT, for example, it's kind of hard to do a PT session virtually. So I'm glad that most of those are coming in.
And we encourage that, Dr. Walsh. I just think that we have a few students that they have such underlying health conditions that I think they feel like that the risk is too great for them. But I do think most of our kids are.
That's good.
Any other questions?
If there's no other questions by board member, this is a motion item.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the combined special education budgets for the 2021 school year.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Billingsley and a second by Ms. Porter. Motion to approve the combined special education budget for the 2021 school year. Ms. Tipton, will you take a roll call?
Yes, sir. Kim Billingsley,
Yes.
Craig Leone,
Yes.
Ben Llewellyn,
Yes.
Patrice Muldrow,
Yes.
Tyler Nelson,
Yes.
Scott Walsh,
Yes.
Sandra Porter.
Yes.
That passes. Dr. Walters, approval for the federal budgets.
Yes. Last item on the agenda for tonight is all of our other federal funds that are not special education. Same story here. You approved a preliminary budget in May for these funds. We've since received our final, I shouldn't say final allocations because it changes throughout the year. We've received our allocations for the 2021 school year now. And so this has been tweaked. I'll just very quickly tell you that Title I is a formula based on poverty students. Title IIA is for teacher improvement. We use it for mentoring. We use it for PD, things like that. Title III is a federal fund for our English language learners. The Title III immigrant is a grant that we received one time. We got that last year. This was just a little carryover that we've got to have spent by the end of December. And then Title IV is kind of a school safe and drug-free pot of money. We're using that to pay for our RAVE, which is our panic button that y'all have heard us talk about before. The state paid for that for years, and this is the first year they said we're not paying for it, but y'all can use your Title IV money to pay for that. So that's kind of in a nutshell what those funds are. I won't read you the numbers. You can see how it's broken down with salaries and other things, but I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
On the Title I, is it something that we get from, is it something someone has to fill out to have that information, or is it just something we get from?
Yeah, it's a formula, Mr. Llewellyn, that the feds tell the states, here's the formula, this is how you have to distribute it. It's based on, it's not just our free and reduced lunch students, it's also based on census data. And that's why it's so important that everyone, complete their census this year. Our ESA funds, which used to be called NSLA, which is a state categorical fund, that is straight based on our free and reduced numbers that we had on October 1 of the previous year. This formula is not quite as clean, but the basis of it is supposed to be about poverty. And we don't have a lot of that, and that is why we didn't get very much CARES Act money, because the CARES Act distribution was based on the Title I formula. So.
Any questions by board members? If not, this is a motion item.
Mr. President, make a motion to approve the federal budgets, not including special education for the 2020-2021 school year.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Walters, a second by Ms. Muldrow. A motion to approve the federal budgets, not including special education for the 2021 school year. Ms. Tipton, can we take a roll call?
Kim Billingsley,
Yes.
Craig Leone,
Yes.
Ben Llewellyn,
Yes.
Patrice Muldrow,
Yes.
Tyler Nelson,
Yes.
Scott Walsh,
Yes.
Sandra Porter.
Yes.
And that passes. We have another motion.
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
Thank you all very much for doing the special meeting tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walters.
Have a good
Thank you.
weekend.
See you guys. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.